When my parents made a family tree for my niece's school project, they left me out like I never existed. I asked why. My mom said, "We didn't want to confuse her with someone who doesn't belong." My brother added, "It's just easier to pretend you're not part of us." I stand up and said, F asterisk CK you both. Keep cutting me out, but don't cry when your shit falls apart. And left. 2 years later, I did something that ruined everything for them. Now they're calling me non-stop. Please, we were wrong. So I'm not sure where to even start with this. I don't really post on here, but I've been lurking on r/relationship_advice and RI for years, and Angel. I always thought people were exaggerating some of their stories for drama. But now I'm sitting here in my car outside my parents' place typing this with like shaky hands. Yeah, whatever. And I'm actually wondering if I'm overreacting or if my family is just actually this cold. Anyway, here's what happened tonight. It's not even the actual big event, but it's the thing that snapped everything for me. So for context, I'm Bryce, 28, oldest son, and TBH, I've always been the weird one in my family. Not in a cool, quirky way. Just like I never really clicked with my parents. Mom = Lillian, dad = Thomas. Or my younger brother William. Will is the golden child. Everything is about him. Holidays, birthdays, whatever. I'm used to it. I don't even get mad about it anymore. It's just background noise at this point, you know? I show up for stuff, keep my mouth shut, try to avoid drama. So my niece Paisley, she's 8, Will's daughter, had this school project, family tree stuff, making a poster with pics and names and all that. My mom texted me a week ago asking if I could come help out, since I'm good with computers. And Paisley likes me more than the rest of them, which is probably true because I actually talk to her like she's a person. Anyway, I show up. Paisley's there with her markers, glue, and a bunch of printed photos my mom got off everyone's social. It's all pretty normal. But then I'm looking at the poster just to see how she's laying it out, and I notice something weird. Like the tree just skips me. It's got my parents at the top. Then a line to William and his wife Adelaide. Then Paisley and her little brother. There's no me anywhere. Not a photo, not even my name. I kind of laugh at first, like, haha, good one. Did you all forget me? Very funny. I say it out loud, not shouting or anything, expecting them to say, oh, whoops, let's add you in, whatever. Except my mom just gives me this look. Not even guilty, just blank. She shrugs and says it's more straightforward this way. Less confusing for Paisley. I'm like, what's confusing? She knows I'm her uncle. She literally calls me Uncle Bryce. My dad's in the kitchen and doesn't say anything. Just keeps scrolling on his phone. Will's at the table and he chimes in like, it's just easier to keep things simple for her. And it's not like you're really around anyway. Now here's the thing. I don't live that far away. I'm in the same city. I see Paisley and the family more than any of their other friends or relatives do. I go to birthdays. I've picked her up from school. I've even babysat while Will and Adelaide were at some wedding. So I just stare at them for a sec because I genuinely can't tell if this is some inside joke I'm not getting or if they're being serious. My mom doubles down. She goes, it's not personal. It just doesn't make sense to add someone who doesn't really belong in the core family. And when I ask what that even means, she starts getting annoyed, saying I always make things about myself. She stands up and starts cleaning up the kitchen like she's done talking. Will sits back in his chair and just looks at me like I'm the one making it awkward. I don't even know how to describe what that feels like. Like I'm standing there in my old house looking at a poster where I don't exist, and everyone's acting like it's totally normal. Paisley hears us and comes over, asking where my picture is supposed to go. My mom tells her not to worry about it, she'll explain later. I try to keep my cool because I don't want to make Paisley upset. But I can't just let it go. Not after years of being left out of group texts, not getting invites until the last minute, hearing about family news from random Facebook posts. I say, so I'm just not family to you. And Will says, look, you're always off doing your own thing. Everyone knows you don't really fit in here. So I snap. I stand up, push my chair back so hard it hits the wall and tell them, and I'm not proud of this, but I was done. I tell them to go of themselves, keep erasing me, but not to come crying when their whole perfect little world falls apart. My mom turns red and tells me to get out if I'm going to talk like that in front of Paisley. I walk past her, grab my jacket, slam the door on my way out. I hear her yell my name, but I'm already halfway down the driveway. I sat in my car for like 10 minutes, just scrolling on my phone, trying not to text anyone because I didn't want to sound like I was whining. I almost called a friend, but IDK, it felt lame. Instead, I just started going through all the little things, all the times I'd been the backup plan, the afterthought. It's not like this was new, but seeing it in black and white, or I guess in poster board and glue, just made it real in a way I couldn't ignore. Anyway, I texted my mom later and said, you know what? You made your choice, don't ask me for anything again. She left me on read. Will sent me a text basically saying I was overreacting and to grow up. I didn't reply. So yeah, that's where it's at. I'm not sure what happens next. I'm pissed, obviously, but also kind of relieved. Like, if they want me gone so bad, maybe it's time I show them what that actually looks like. I guess I'll see how long it takes for them to notice what happens when the person they don't need just disappears. And yeah, I'm not letting this go. Not this time. We'll update if anyone. Update 1. So I didn't think I'd actually come back here and update, but on GL, some of these replies and messages made me realize I'm not as alone as I thought. Thanks for that, FR. Anyway, buckle up, because the last couple months have been a whole new level of wait, am I the crazy one? And I'm not even sure where the line is between petty and justified at this point. So after the whole family tree / poster / erased from existence thing, I kind of just stopped talking to them. Like hard stop. Didn't block anyone, but no replying to texts. Skipped the next family dinner. Turned down any last-minute come watch Paisley's soccer game stuff. My dad texted me once with a thumbs up emoji, which, IDK, is pretty much how he's always handled conflict. My mom tried once to call, but hung up after 2 rings. William didn't even do that, just posted some fake deep, family is everything meme on his Facebook and tagged everyone except me. Whatever. Here's the part that got interesting. So, my family's always had this thing where I do all the tech stuff for them. Like, I set up their Wi-Fi, handle their Netflix, fix their phones, update their laptops, all that. But also, their little side hustle, not gonna say what it is, but it's nothing cool, trust me. I set up their web stuff, keep up with emails, help with online payments, all the boring stuff they refuse to learn. It's not paid. It's just, you're good with this. Help your family. I've probably spent more time fixing their crap than hanging out with them as actual people. So after they made it clear I'm not family, I just stopped. Didn't answer when my dad called about his phone not syncing. Didn't update their website when it started showing errors. When my mom texted about why did the card payment bounce, I left her on read. At first it was kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. I figured someone else would pick it up. But nah, weeks go by and the website is still down, emails bounce, stuff just starts piling up. Then my mom called, actually called, which she never does unless there's an emergency. She sounded annoyed, like I was slacking off on chores or something. She goes, "We need your help. The site is broken. Your dad can't log in. I don't understand why you're ignoring us." I told her, "You said I'm not family, so go ask William." She hung up. Next day, I get a text from William. Just seriously? Grow up. I ignored it. Next thing I know, Adelaide, William's wife, is DMing me on Instagram asking if I can just fix things, for Paisley's sake, because the business is how they pay for her activities. I didn't answer. Couple weeks later, I hear from a mutual friend that my parents are complaining about me at some party, saying I've abandoned them and left them in the lurch. I guess their social circle always thought I was the good son for dealing with their stuff. So now they're getting questions about why nothing's working. I get a text from my mom again, this time actually apologizing, but in that way where it's more about how hard things are for her, not about what they did. She says it's not too late to fix things if I just help her out, and family should stick together. I told her, if you want my help, you can pay me like you'd pay anyone else. She sent a long reply about how family shouldn't ask for money. It's selfish, I'm being cruel, blah blah blah. I sent her my rates anyway. She never replied. Meanwhile, William tried to fix the site himself. I could see he'd changed the password because I got a notification. Then a day later, I got an email from the hosting service saying the account was locked for suspicious activity. I laughed so hard I nearly choked on my coffee. Then Adelaide called me, actually called, and said William was stressed out and I was being childish for not stepping in. I told her, I'm just doing what your family wanted. She started crying and hung up. At this point, stuff started breaking down for real. The payments stopped going through, their emails started bouncing, and their regulars started texting me because my number was still on the site. LMAO. I told anyone who asked that I wasn't involved anymore. Paisley's school sent home a form for some online fundraiser thing, and apparently Adelaide couldn't log in, so she tried to guilt trip me again. I didn't reply. I started noticing that William was getting more aggressive. He showed up at my apartment one night, pounding on the door saying I was destroying their business and ruining Paisley's life. I told him to leave. He shoved me, hard, and tried to push into my place, but I blocked him and told him if he didn't leave, I'd call someone to come get him. He called me an asshole and left. I slammed the door. Next day, I got a long message from my mom about violence in the family and how I needed to apologize for escalating things. I didn't bother replying. I know this all sounds petty, but honestly, I'm just done being the free labor. I spent years picking up after them, making everything work, never getting a thank you, just a shrug or a, that's your job, you're the tech guy. They always treated me like the spare part, not the main event. Even as a kid, it was always William's way or nothing. He was the normal one, the one they could brag about. I was just the weird older brother who listened to music they didn't like and wore hoodies to family dinners. I think the thing that kills me is how fast they went from, "You're not family," to, "Why aren't you helping us?" Like, which is it? Am I the invisible guy or the only one who can save your ass? And every time I set a boundary, they act like I'm the unreasonable one. I still get texts from Adelaide every few days, always about Paisley, like I'm supposed to care more about her than about myself. I do care about Paisley, but I'm not her parent, and I'm not going to get walked over just because my brother can't figure out how email. I haven't seen them in person since William tried to get in my face. I blocked him on everything after that. I know they're talking about me to everyone. One of my cousins messaged me on Snapchat asking if everything was okay. Said my mom's been saying I'm having a hard time and acting out. I just told her I'm fine, just busy. IDK if she believes me, but whatever. Anyway, I get the feeling this is just the start. If they think I'm coming back just because things are hard, they're in for a rude awakening. I'm not the family dog they can kick out and expect to do tricks when it's convenient. And if they want to see what it's like without me, I'm going to make damn sure they get the full experience. Will update. Update 2. Alright, so I didn't expect part 2 to get as much attention as it did, but I guess misery loves company or whatever. And some of y'all are wild with the DMs. Shout out to the guy who sent me a meme of a burning family tree, deadass. I said I'd update, so here's what's happened since. Buckle up. This got messier than I thought it could, TBH. So the weird part started like, not with some big blow up, but just a bunch of little things. First thing I noticed was how nobody from my family reached out for like a month straight. Usually, even if we're fighting, my mom will send a "hope you're eating" text or whatever. Nothing. I figured they were mad, but TBH, I was relieved. Then I started getting weird calls from numbers I didn't know. Turns out, when you stop fixing everyone's messes, they gotta start asking for help in the wild. My cousin Arya called saying my mom had been asking around if anyone could reset the website or whatever. Arya's useless with tech, so she just told them to call a pro. Then I heard from a guy I went to high school with, not a close friend, just someone who's always been a bit of a gossip. He said he was at a party where my dad was complaining about kids these days not respecting family, and how the business was under attack. Not even kidding. Like I'm some hacker or something. My dad always does this. Blames everyone but himself. Classic Thomas. Anyway, I let it roll off. Here's where it got real. My mom called me up out of nowhere, didn't even say hi. Just started in about how they're getting late notices and threats from the bank, and did I do something to the business accounts? I told her straight, I haven't touched anything. You told me I'm not family, remember? She got quiet. Then she asked if I'd at least talk to William, because he was stressed. I said no. She hung up. Next thing I know, I'm getting texts from William saying I'm ruining everything, and I need to fix what I broke. I didn't break anything. I just stopped being their insurance policy. So background for people asking, my parents refinanced their house to float the business a couple years ago. I found that out because my mom bragged about taking a risk for the future. They always thought everything would sort itself out because that's how it's always been. I'd bail them out, patch things up, and they'd move on. Not this time. Now they're actually feeling the heat. Adelaide, William's wife, tried again. This time showing up at my place with Paisley in tow. Paisley handed me a drawing of us at the park, and Adelaide just stood in the hall, not even pretending to be chill, asking if I could just make a few calls so the payments start going through again. She said Paisley was scared they'd have to move. I told her I'm not the one who made things this way. Adelaide started crying again and tried to get in my face about family never turning their back. I just closed the door. Paisley kicked it hard. Angel, that stung a bit, but I didn't open it again. Then William started getting nasty. He left a voicemail saying if I didn't fix things, everyone would know what kind of selfish piece of trash I was. I didn't even bother replying. Couple days later, I saw him at the grocery store. He tried to accidentally bump into me, then started yelling about how I was destroying the family. People stared. I told him to leave me alone, and when he wouldn't, I pushed his cart out of the way. He slapped my hand and said I was dead to him. I just walked out. The next week, my mom sent a group text. Me, William, Adelaide, my dad, basically begging for help, saying the bank was calling nonstop and they were at risk of losing everything. I replied, you made your choice, deal with it. My dad called and left a voicemail threatening to take legal action if I didn't restore the business. I laughed so hard I played it back for a friend. He has no idea how any of it works. The only reason they had anything running was because of me. I didn't touch a thing, but I wasn't about to help them now. So at this point, their social circle started noticing. A couple people they know from their little community group started reaching out to me, asking if I was okay because my mom was telling everyone I'd gone off the deep end. I told them I was fine, just not involved anymore. I guess the word started spreading because suddenly my parents stopped posting happy family stuff online. No more group pics, no, look at Paisley's new soccer trophy. I think people started putting two and two together. One day, I went by their place to pick up some old stuff. They'd been donating my things without asking, so I figured I'd better grab what was left. My dad was outside yelling into his phone, saying something about, "How can you do this to us?" and "We're not bad people." He saw me, hung up, and just glared. Didn't say a word. I went in, grabbed my boxes, and left. My mom tried to stop me, literally grabbed my arm and started crying, but I just pulled away. She slapped me, hard, and said I was breaking her heart. I told her, "You broke mine first." After that, I started hearing from family friends. Not close ones, but people who know us enough to gossip. They were asking what was going on, why my mom was so upset, why William looked like he hadn't slept in a week. I told them the truth. I used to help them because I thought that's what family did, but they made it clear I'm not family, so I'm done. Some people took my side, some didn't. That's life. Now here's the part that really got me. I found out from a mutual friend that my parents had tried to get a loan to cover the business problems, but got denied because of missed payments and bad credit. They always assumed I'd patch things up before it got this far. William apparently tried to fix the website again and ended up getting them locked out of their main account. They can't access any of their customer info now. Adelaide posted a long rant on Facebook about loyalty and betrayal without using my name. But everyone who knows us knew exactly who she meant. It's weird, because I thought I'd feel bad watching all this fall apart, but honestly, I don't. Not after how they treated me. Not after years of being the backup plan, the fixer, the one who's always too much or not enough for whatever story they're telling. I'm just tired. William tried one last time. He showed up at my door at midnight, banging and yelling until a neighbor came out and told him to shut up, or they'd call the cops. He left after that. I blocked him everywhere. I guess he finally got the message. Now it's just waiting. They're desperate, and for once, I'm not the one scrambling to fix it. I know it sounds harsh, but honestly, I hope they sit with it for a while. Maybe next time, they'll think twice before erasing someone just because they don't fit their perfect story. And honestly, I'm not even done yet. If they want to see what real consequences feel like, I'm ready to take it further. Part 4 soon. Final update. So yeah, it's been wild. TBH, I thought maybe after my last update, things would just kinda fizzle out, but instead it's like every day I'm hearing about some new meltdown at my parents' place. If you told me 2 years ago that I'd be getting spammed with desperate calls from people who once said I didn't belong, I'd have laughed in your face. But here we are. Buckle up. So it really hit me that things were different the week my mom texted me. Again, at like 3 a.m. I was up playing on my Switch, totally ignoring my phone, but she kept calling, so eventually I just blocked the number. Next day, I wake up to like 20 missed calls, voicemails, even a couple emails titled urgent, not even trying to be subtle. I guess the bank stuff finally caught up with them, because my cousin Arya texted me saying my mom was crying at church, telling everyone she was about to lose the house. Not a word about what actually happened, just that Bryce abandoned us, and now we're ruined. I went on with my week. I know, sounds cold, but after how they treated me, I'm honestly just tired of being the family's invisible punching bag. So I kept living my life. Went to work, hung out with my friends, watched the NBA playoffs. I'd hear from random people, like this one guy from high school I barely remember, asking if everything was okay at home because your mom's been telling people you're having a breakdown. I just said I was fine, thanks for checking in. But I started to get these weird messages from people I didn't even have saved in my phone. All the same vibe. Can you please talk to your mom? She's really upset. William is worried sick. Even Adelaide's mom called me asking if I could fix things for Paisley's sake. I didn't reply. I guess my parents and William finally realized that without me, they couldn't keep up the act. The business was tanking, like really tanking, and they were months behind on mortgage payments. I know this because, well, the mail with all their late notices and warnings kept coming to my old address, thanks to their laziness not updating stuff. I didn't do anything with it, just threw it in the recycling. The thing that finally made me realize they were legit desperate was when William texted me a photo of Paisley, looking sad, holding up one of her drawings from when she was 5. He wrote something like, "She misses her uncle, please just help us out. We'll do anything." I almost replied, "Ingel," but I stopped myself, because it's just more of the same. Using Paisley every time they want something, pretending it's all about her feelings, never about their choices. So I went full, not my circus, not my monkeys. I texted William, "You made your bed, now lie in it." He replied like 10 times saying I was heartless, that family is supposed to forgive, that Paisley is the real victim here. Then, a couple hours later, Adelaide called me in tears, saying they might have to move in with her parents and it's all falling apart. I told her, "You guys said I wasn't family when it was convenient, so I'm just returning the favor." She hung up. I could hear her slam something in the background. A few days go by and I'm honestly just living my life, but the calls don't stop. My mom tried to call from a new number. Then my dad texted me for the first time in literal years, just one line. We were wrong. Please come home. I didn't even know what to say to that, so I didn't reply. Every time I saw their names on my phone, I just blocked the number. New numbers would pop up. Voicemails, emails, even a letter in the mail that was just pages of my mom begging for forgiveness, saying, please, please, we were wrong. I left it unopened for a week before finally tossing it. The best, or worst, part? Some people in their social group started putting two and two together, and now my parents are basically getting iced out. A family friend who's always been neutral texted me just to say, hey, not taking sides, but your folks are in a bad way. I just told him I gave them every chance, they chose this. He just said, yeah, sounds like they're finally facing consequences. And for anyone wondering, no, I don't feel guilty. After years of being the backup, the scapegoat, the free tech support, the emotional trash can, I finally just stopped giving a damn. I've seen people say, you'll regret it someday. But honestly, I feel lighter than I have in years. I know Paisley's young and didn't do any of this, and that sucks. But I'm not going to let them use her as a pawn forever. She's got two parents. They can explain to her why things are a mess, not me. The last time anyone got through to me was when William showed up at my place pounding on my door. I answered, but only because my neighbor was about to call the cops again. He was crying, babbling about, please, you're my brother, I'm sorry, we need you. I told him, you said I don't belong, so now you get to see what it's like. He tried to push past me, and I shoved him back. He just stood there, then turned and left. I closed the door and locked it. So yeah, that's where it is now. My phone still gets random calls from numbers I don't know. Voicemails from my mom, begging and apologizing, promising things will change, promising money, whatever it takes. I deleted all of them. I don't even listen anymore. I know some people are going to say I'm being cold, but if you knew how many years I spent being treated like a ghost, you'd get it. I'm not here for the family is everything speeches. I did everything I could, and when they made it clear I didn't matter, I finally started listening. So now, it's them calling, begging, promising, and me just living my life. I don't know what the next chapter is. But for once, I'm not the one scrambling to fix everything. If you're reading this and you're the black sheep or whatever, just know, you don't have to stay in the story they write for you. You can walk away, and sometimes, yeah, they'll realize what they lost. Doesn't mean you owe them a damn thing.